Good day, everyone. Today, I would like to welcome you to Quarter 3, Module 1, and we will be tackling about the basic concepts and terms in geometry. I am teacher Leona Fe Pablo, your teacher in math. After going through this module, you are expected to number 1, represent point, line, and plane using concrete and pictorial models. Number 2, you are going to illustrate subsets of a line. Let's go. Now, what is geometry? Okay, looking back at our first drawing as a child, we often remember points, lines, and even planes in the form of familiar shapes. These concepts and terms are part of geometry. Geometry is a branch of mathematics that studies the sizes, shapes, positions, angles, dimensions of things, and the knowledge dealing with spatial relationships. This is from the ancient Greek words geo, which means earth, and metre, which means to measure. So first, we will be having an activity. In this activity, you have to identify the common shapes and answer the following questions for you to be able to understand what is the geometry. Here, what shape is shown below? It is a correct, it is a rectangle. Next, what shape is shown on the screen? Okay, this is what we call a triangle. Very good. Now let's go moved. What shape is shown on your screen? This one is a square. Very good. It's a square. Next, how about this one? This one is a very familiar shape, which is a star. Correct. It is a star. Now, after identifying those shapes, let us now answer the following questions. Number 1, what do these shapes have in common? Correct. They have a corners. They are closed figures. Correct. Number 2, how many corners does shape 1 have? Shape 1 is a rectangle. There are how many corners? There are, ta-da, it's 4. Next, how many corners How many corners does shape 2 have? Shape 2 is a triangle. Triangle has 3 corners. Correct. Number 4. How many corners does shape 3 have? Okay. Shape 3 is a square, and square has 4 corners. Very good. Number 5. How many corners does shape 4 have? Okay, shape 4 is a star and there are 10 corners. Okay, number is 6. In each shape, what connects one corner to the other? Mm-hmm. It is a it is a line or a side. Correct. Very good. Another. How do we call the intersection of one side to the other? Okay, we call the intersection as a point or a dot. Okay, job well done. Let us now move to activity number 2. In this activity class, your task is to rearrange the highlighted letters to form the word describe. There are given letters in scramble letters, and you are going to rearrange them according to their definition. Okay, let's go. The anagram letters are N, I, L, E. The description is It has no width and no thickness, but can be extended infinitely in opposite directions. What can you form with these anagram letters? There are or there is. What word? Okay, it's a line. Well done. Next, we have letters TOPIN. And the description is it has no dimension and is usually represented by a dot. What is the word form? The word form is, okay, it's a point. Well done, students. Now let's go another. The letters are NAPLE. And the description is it is a flat surface that extends infinitely in all directions. What word can be formed? The word that can be formed is, charan, it's a plane. Well done, students. Next is GETSEMN. And the description is it is formed when two distinct points are connected with a line. What word can be formed? It is a ta-da, segment. Well done, students. Very good. Not last but not the least, we have a RY. It has only one endpoint and an arrowhead which extends infinitely in one direction. What word can be formed with the letters ARY? Correct. It is a ray. Well done, students. Okay, as you have already familiarized the words that we are going to tackle in these lessons, we will now go to undefined terms in a mathematical system. In a mathematical system, definitions are important. Elements and objects must be defined precisely. However, there are some terms or objects that are the primitive building blocks of the system and hence cannot be defined independently of other objects. In geometry, these are the points, the lines, the planes, and space. There are also relationships like between that are not formally defined but are merely described as or illustrated. So these undefined terms are point. Okay, as you can see on the screen, point in the figure is point with a capital letter A. The description of that is a point suggests an exact location in space. It has no dimension. We use a capital letter to name a point. We can read that as point A. Next undefined terms is a line. Line is shows in the figure. A line is a set of points arranged in a row. It is extended endlessly in both directions. It is a one-dimensional figure. 2 points determine a line. That is, two distinct points are contained by exactly one line. We use a lowercase letter or any 2 points on the line to name the line. This figure as notation or can be read as line M or line JD from point J to point D. That is line JD. Next undefined terms is a plane. In this figure, a plane is a set of points in an endless flat surface. As you can see, there are 3 points in the figure. It lies on a plane. The following determine a plane, letter A, 3 non-collinear points. There are 3 non-collinear points. When we say non-collinear, the points does not lie on the same line. Letter B, 2 intersecting lines. Letter C, 2 parallel lines. Or letter D, a line in the point not on the line. We use an uppercase letter or script letter such as A or 3 points on the plane to name the plane. We can read that as plane A or plane XYZ or plane X, Y, Z in mathematical symbol. Okay? Next, consider the following illustrations. Here in these pictures or in this illustration, we have two lines, line M and line L, or line L and line M. Lines L and M intersect at point C. As you can see, they are now intersecting, and this is the point C. Another illustration is line AB from point A, as you can see on the screen. This is your point A, point B. And line AB and plane M intersect at point A, meaning the plane is intersected to a line in the point A, in between. Next, planes S and R. There are two planes here. This is the plane S and this is the plane R. Halved line PQ in common. As you can see, from point P to point Q, they have a common because they intersected at line PQ. They intersected at line PQ. Next, the postulates that can be formed from the different illustrations are: number one, 2 points are contained exactly one line. Every line contains at least two distinct points. If 2 points are on a plane, then the line containing this point is also on the plane. Every plane contains at least three non-collinear points, and any 3 points lie in at least one plane, and any three non-collinear points lie exactly in one plane. If two distinct planes intersect, then their intersection is a line. So those are the undefined terms in geometry. We have a point, a line, and a plane. Now let's go with, there are some objects around us that could represent a point, a line, or a plane. Can you think of any objects that has a point, a line, or a plane? Yes, there are. Okay, the following are the objects that could represent a point. Look at the tip of the needle. This is the tip of the needle, and it can represent a point. Look at also the intersection of the front wall, the side wall, and the ceiling in your room. As you can see, this part can represent a point. Next, objects that could represent a line. Have you seen a laser? Have you tried a laser, using a laser? A laser can represent a line. Also, the intersection of the front wall and the side wall here. Also, your pen. A pen could represent a line. The following are the objects that could represent a plane, like blackboard, like a sheet of intermediate paper, or your wall. So those are an objects and many more other that could represent a plane. Next, let's go with the other basic geometry terms on points and lines. Okay, for the points, we have equilinear points. In an illustration, this is a line that these are points on the same line. So there are points on the same line, and they are collinear because they lie on the same line. These 4 points lie on only one line. We call that as collinear points. Next, equiplanar points or lines. These are points or lines on the same plane. Look at the illustration. There are lines on a plane and points on a plane. We call that as equiplanar points or lines. Next, intersecting lines. Two or more lines are intersecting if they have a common point. Look at the illustration. There are two lines here intersecting at one point. We call that an intersecting lines if they have a common point, and this is their common point. Next is for lines. We have what we call a parallel lines. A parallel lines, these are coplanar lines that do not meet. They go in the same direction, but they do not meet. Next is the concurrent lines. Concurrent lines are three or more lines are concurrent if they all intersect at only one point. Look at this line, another line on the side, and another line. And they have a common point on between. We call that as concurrent lines. Next is the skew lines. When we say skew lines, these are lines that do not lie on the same plane. Look at this line. It is in the plane of the cube on the front, and this line on the red line is in it is in the plane on the lower part or the lower surface. So these red lines are what we call skew lines. Next, the subsets of lines. We have two subsets of lines, line segment and array. Line segment in the figure that is from point A to point B. It is a part of a line that has two endpoints. This is a line that has two endpoints. The two endpoints are point A and point B. In notation, that is what we call line segment AB, or we can also say line segment BA, or in symbols, that is AB, line segment on the top, or line segment BA. The next subset of a line is array. Array is, it is a subset of a line but has one endpoint. Look at this figure. There is a line, but on the other side is a point, while on the other side is an arrowhead. It is a subset of a line but has one endpoint. This is the one endpoint, and extends in one direction. This one, an arrowhead, shows or represent extended in other directions. We name ray by its endpoint and one of its points. Naming a ray will always start on the endpoint. So in this case, we'll start at endpoint C. We call that as a notation or ray CD or ray CE. We can say ray CD, ray CE, or in symbols that is an arrow CD or ray CD or ray CE. That is the subsets of a line. Did you understand? Do you have any question about our lesson for today? If there are questions, you may ask them in our group chat in Messenger. The next presentation that I will be showing is your performance task number 1. Here is the direction. Roam around your house and look for objects which represent a point, a line, or a plane. For each column, list at least 3 objects not mentioned earlier in the discussion and draw the object. So in this performance task, you are going to look around in your house, look for the things that represent a point, a line, and a plane. And then you are going to draw and name them. Make sure that those following examples that in your list are not mentioned in our discussion for today. That would be all for today. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me? Have a nice day, grade 7. Bye.